Okay. Hey guys, it's me, Vanessa. I know it's been some time that I've recorded a video on anything in general, but I definitely have to catch up on a video to let you know some events that I was doing and share some information should you want to participate at any time or just have the information in general or you know someone that needs it. But this video is specifically to answer the question that I've been getting the most for the past 2 years, and it's why I've been in and out of the hospital. I kind of been prolonging this video because I was thinking of how am I gonna do it, what am I gonna say, and all this stuff. So I figured I'd just do it, right? It's not gonna be a perfect way, and I mean this way is I'm just gonna talk to you, and it's more personal, right? So all right, so I'm gonna, if you see me keep looking down, it's because I typed out some dates, and because I really want to stress the short amount of time it took for everything to happen. It's really crazy. But I hope you can keep up, and I'm gonna talk fast because I don't want to make this video into a movie. But anyway, so March 13th, 2013, I woke up with a blurry vision, and when I say blurry vision, you know when you rub your eyes a lot, it kind of gives you like that cloudy field. Well, that's how it was, and I didn't really think much of it because just rubbing your eye or blinking a lot, it would it'll go back to normal. So on the 13th was a Wednesday. That Sunday, the 17th, I was driving, and while driving, the car in front of me doubled, and it stood like that for a couple of seconds. And I'm gonna show you a picture. I'm pretty sure you guys seen it on the internet, but this is how it looked. So I don't know if you could really get the effect of this picture through camera, but I'm sure you've seen it before, and obviously the image is double, but when you look at it, it kind of gives you a weird feeling. But that's how my vision was, and how the car, because I didn't know which one was a physical one, but of course I rubbed my eyes and I blinked a couple of times, and when I say blinked, I mean like really fast, and everything went back to normal. So like I said, I didn't think much of it because our friend insomnia happened, so I wasn't really getting much sleep, and I was doing a lot at the time in a short amount of schedule time. So I felt like I needed to rest and catch up on sleep because my vision was blurring. And apparently that wasn't the case. So anyway, when I parked the car, when I went back home, I parked the car, and I ended up going to the hospital to, just make sure that everything was okay. And it was pretty late, so I had to go through the emergency, and they really couldn't do much, which I kind of find weird. But all they did was an EKG. And the results came back perfectly fine. She ended up discharging me. She didn't even know what instructions to give me. She couldn't prescribe me anything, which I'm not much of a medicine taker. I don't like it. But anyway, that ended up happening. So they ended up discharging me. They couldn't tell me what was wrong with me, and it was just I started to think on, within those 4 days, and I didn't realize how often my vision was blurring. And I didn't really give it much thought. But anyway, from that Sunday the 17th to the following Sunday, the 24th, I had more symptoms. So within that time, I started losing weakness in my hands. I couldn't make a fist. I couldn't grab anything. It was weird. Like I didn't have strength. It was just like I was losing my move, like the ability to move my fingers. I couldn't type properly. I don't know, it was weird. Like I at that time, I was doing makeup, so the brushes, I couldn't properly do it. I had to hold my wrist to do. It was just a mess. I was a mess. But also my eyes was droopy, and I would have to like massage my eye or throw water in my face to shock it, or it was just like crazy. So I ended up having blurry vision, right? My weakness in my hands, my weak eyelids, and my voice started to change. And this is how it happened. I was with a friend and I was giving a testimony to a group of people, and I started to feel like I was losing control with my tongue. Like I couldn't pronounce words properly. I was slurring, and I wasn't even sure if people were noticing, but it was like I sounded like yeah, seriously, like everything was just like going numb kind of feeling. And as I'm talking and that's going on, I also started looking at, when I was looking at it, everything started to be blurry, and I couldn't tell details. Like I knew someone was there, but I couldn't tell you details on the features, colors. It was so creepy. But I told my friend, and I'm like, listen, can you take me home? I have to go to the hospital. I ended up going to the same hospital, but a different location. And when I went there, I took the paperwork from the previous Sunday. I explained to them what was going on, my symptoms, how it started to get worse within a couple of days. And again, they didn't know what to do, how to treat me. All they did was an EKG, another one, and a CT scan. And the results for those two came back perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong. So I started getting frustrated. I'm sorry, nurse. I didn't mean to give you attitude. But as you guys could imagine, when you're independent to having to depend on people, it's a bit frustrating. And especially when things are happening literally overnight, you know? So anyway, so from the 13th, I woke up with blurry vision. The 17th, my vision started to double. On the 24th, my voice changed, weakness in hands, droopy eyelids, and everything else was just intense. So 2 days later, the 26th, I'm doing my, I'm blowing out my bangs, and when I'm in this motion and I'm blowing it out, this eye literally moves. I'm looking forward, and this eye just moves that way. I'm gonna show you a picture. And yeah, because when it happened, I blinked and went back to normal, and I felt like it would happen again, so I took my phone to see if I'm bugging out. But when I felt the sensation again, I go and I take a picture. Don't make fun of me, okay? But this is the picture. Look how crazy that is. Alright, so you can see that I'm looking forward. This eye moves. Look at it. I can do one of those like mimes or memes, whatever they call it. Look, I'm looking forward. Crazy. So I ended up blinking again to focus my eye again. And I know many of you saw me with a patch. That's why, because they said that if I do a patch, it would kind of take the strain away from it and it would just focus more. So I kept switching eyes. That was the whole pirate eye thing. But that ended up happening. I sent a picture to my sister, and thank goodness that my mother remembered that her neurologist took walk-ins. So I went in on the 28th to go see the doctor, and right, it was the 28th, yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, when that night when my eye moved, that night while I was sleeping, I stopped breathing. So now in the middle of the night while I'm relaxed, my breathing would stop, and by that night, all the weakness in my hands moved up to my arms. So I couldn't shower, I couldn't get dressed, and it was a very awkward thing. But my dad would have to bathe me and dress me and actually feed me because I lost strength in my jaw. So I would have to use a straw or soup, and at that time when I would lose the weakness in my hands, I couldn't even feed myself. Sad, right? But anyway, I got through that. But then the 28th, I went to the doctor. So before going to the neurologist, I went to the eye doctor. I don't know what they're called, but they checked my vision and I have perfect vision. So I ended up going to the neurologist. Thank goodness that there was no one there. Well, it wasn't as busy that I could have walked in. And she saw me right away. And she said, Vanessa, I think you have Myasthenia Gravis. She's like, I'm in the middle of Myasthenia Gravis or MS. And I don't want to say MS because your symptoms come and go. So, but I want you to see a specialist that specializes in myasthenia gravis to properly diagnose you, which I totally respect. But before that, I want you to go for an MRI, and I want you to go for some blood tests. So the same day, I went to her personal office, did the MRI, got all the blood work, and I had to follow up the following week on April 4th, right? So, of course, from the 28th to April 4th, I still had all the symptoms. Thank God I didn't have another symptom, but within that week, all of my symptoms were worsening. They were more intense. And I started even losing mobility in my legs. That's why some of you will see me with a cane. Or saw me with a cane. So I ended up going April 4th, which was the following Thursday. And the test results came back. The MRI was perfectly fine. Everything was good. And the blood work came back that something was wrong. We didn't know what it was, but something was wrong. So on the 5th, on that Friday, she told me that she spoke with her colleague that did specialize in myasthenia gravis. However, I couldn't see him because he didn't take my insurance. So when I got that news, all I did seriously was, like, I was actually by a park, and I sat down and I just started going over things, how from March 13th to April 5th, all this is happening to me, from an independent person to someone that's totally dependent on someone, and no one knows what's going on. It could possibly be myasthenia gravis, but the person that could properly diagnose me couldn't see me because they didn't take my insurance. So I was numb. I didn't even cry. I really was trying to process everything, but I ended up I'm sorry about that. The camera just cut off. But anyway, I ended up going back home, and I was talking to my dad, and I was telling him what was going on, and as I'm talking to him, my head falls. I laugh because it's just like I couldn't really believe what was going on, and I literally was talking to him, and all of a sudden my head falls, my chin like hits my chest. I couldn't lift up my head. I had to use my shoulders. I had to use my hands and try. I just looked ridiculous, but I ended up losing strength in my neck. So thank goodness for my friend Melissa Jimenez. She did some research with my insurance and what myasthenia gravis was. She found a hospital in the city called Hospital of Special Surgery, and she told me that she spoke to the lady, and the lady wanted me to go in right away, which was on Monday the 8th. And I went in with all my paperwork. My dad drove me, and she looked over all the paperwork. She asked me questions, and I got a call later on Wednesday, April 10th, for me to go into the hospital right away, that the doctors were taking my case. I went to the hospital. They sent me to Weill Cornell. They're such an amazing team, by the way. There I ended up seeing the specialist for myasthenia gravis, and they ended up diagnosing me with myasthenia gravis, officially and properly diagnosing me with that. And because I was getting the breathing within my breathing was stopping. I would stop breathing. They did a chest x-ray, and which, by the way, anyone that goes to the hospital that has problems with breathing or in the chest, make sure that they give you a chest x-ray, which I found out that they're supposed to do mandatory. But anyway, I went in, right in the morning that Wednesday. They diagnosed me and they had the chest x-ray. Later on that night, around 10 o'clock, they came back with the results, and they told me that they found a tumor on my thymus gland. The thymus gland is located here by the heart and the lung, and they wanted to, there's a test on how they can figure out by the image, is a test based on the image, how they can see if it was cancerous or not. So they ended up admitting me, and the next morning on April 11th, the doctor came in and they confirmed that I did have cancer, and the type of cancer I had was thymoma cancer, which is the cancer in the thymus gland. So they wanted me to start treatment right away, and that's what I was going through. I had to go through plasmapheresis, which is kind of like a dialysis procedure, but it was to take out plasma because my body was creating too much of it, that it was attacking my body. And I ended up getting a thymectomy, which is the removal of the thymus gland, because they didn't, want to just take the tumor out. They took the whole thing out. So the thymus gland is what creates antibodies for your body to fight infections and, viruses. So because they removed it, my immune system is very low. So a regular fever for you would be really bad for me. An infection that could be just cured with antibiotics for you. It's more intense for me. So I had to do a lot of follow-ups, and I had to, continue going back. Well, basically that's what it is, a follow-up, right? I had to do the follow-up to make sure everything was on top of it. They were on top of everything. And I went in December of last year, and they told me officially that I was cancer-free. So that's amazing news, with the praise of the Lord. Without him, I couldn't have done this. He is my strength with everything. But he's the one that kept my spirits up. I didn't take it too serious. I just knew that what was next, So I just want everyone to know that you know your body. You know when something's wrong. Do not ignore it. Go with your intuition and check it out. You never know what it could be. You see, I'm thinking I had blurry vision, and I ended up having myasthenia gravis and cancer. And the cancer is what gave me the myasthenia gravis. It's actually the main symptom of it. The cancer was taken care of through surgery. By the ending of this year, I go back to make sure that the tumor didn't grow back. But I do have to be on top of the myasthenia gravis, which is not curable. However, it could go in remission with the proper treatment and medication. So I have to always constantly go. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for reaching out to me in every possible way, from social media to personal cell phone to visiting me to email. And just making sure that I'm okay. And thank you so much for the prayers and the positive energy. I truly appreciate it more than you could ever imagine. I love you guys, and just keep going. That's just gotta keep your spirits up, honestly, and have faith and know that you're gonna get through it. Know that you are already cured. You just gotta go through the challenge. There's a lesson to learn in everything, and I would definitely make another video to share my recovery process on having to learn how to walk again, build the therapy, and all the other good stuff. So thank you so much for watching. Sorry if this is a little lengthy, but it's definitely great information to hear. If you have any questions on anything, please do not hesitate to reach out. I will definitely try my best to get back to you in a prompt response. So I love you.